Since the day they both joined the crew, the relationship between Zoro and Sanji has been far more than just petty arguments over food or nicknames. They are the ultimate dual pillars, the two wings of the future Pirate King. But what happens when this eternal rivalry manifests into a full-blown, all-out battle? In this video, we're diving deep into the philosophy behind Zoro and Sanji's clash, all while bringing this epic fight to life frame by frame. What makes their dynamic so captivating is the sheer contrast in how they fight. Zoro embodies the relentless path of Bushido, brute strength, raw willpower, and the deadly precision of his blades. Sanji, on the other hand, represents speed, tactical brilliance, and the fiery passion of his blackleg style. Eiichiro Oda masterfully designs every single encounter to showcase how their styles complement each other. Even when they clash, every blow exchange is an unwritten acknowledgement of the other's immense power. If we look at their current power evolutions, the gap between them remains virtually non-existent, yet their paths are completely different. Zoro has unlocked the pinnacle of Conqueror's Haki, channeling it into his King of Hell style to cut through any defense. Meanwhile, Sanji's genetic awakening, combined with his exoskeleton and Ifrit Jambe, grants him absurd durability and speed that defies logic. In a raw, unrestrained duel, Zoro holds the edge in lethal attack power, but Sanji's mobility and tactical mind make him nearly impossible to cleanly hit. Looking ahead to the final saga, their bond as the wings of the Pirate King will be tested like never before. As Luffy pushes toward the absolute peak of the world, against the world government and the Gorosei, Zoro and Sanji will be the ultimate shields protecting his back. Their constant bickering isn't hatred, it's an unbreakable bond forged through absolute trust. When the stakes are at their highest, there are no two fighters in the entire One Piece universe more reliable than these two standing side by side. Beyond the swords and the flames, what truly defines Zoro and Sanji is their unwavering loyalty to Luffy. We all remember Zoro taking on all of Luffy's pain back in Thriller Bark, whispering, "Nothing happened." But Sanji carried an equally heavy burden in Whole Cake Island, sacrificing his own happiness to protect his captain and crew. They expressed their loyalty differently, Zoro through raw endurance and Sanji through emotional martyrdom. Oda's created two men who would willingly give up their dreams, their pride, and their very lives if it means Luffy becomes a Pirate King. While Zoro is the terrifying vanguard who cuts through the front lines, Sanji is the undercover strategist operating in the shadows. Think back to Little Garden, Alabasta, or Enies Lobby. It was Sanji who outsmarted Crocodile, closed the gates of justice, and turned impossible situations into miracles. Zoro recognizes this tactical genius. He trusts Sanji to secure the back end while he focuses purely on destroying the strongest enemy in front of them. It is the ultimate synergy between brute force and battlefield intelligence. Their current power upgrades reflect their deepest internal struggles. Zoro had to master Enma, a cursed blade that forcefully drains his Haki and pushes his body to the absolute limit. On the other hand, Sanji had to face the terrifying awakening of his Germa genetics, fighting the fear of losing his human heart and emotions. Zoro conquers external curses with his spirit, while Sanji conquers internal monsters with his humanity. Both achieve power through immense suffering, solidifying their standing as true monsters of the sea. While looking closely at the world government, Oda has strategically positioned potential endgame opponents for both. Ethan Baron v Nosjuro, the elder with the legendary Shodai Kitetsu, is the natural, ultimate test for Zoro's mastery of the sword. Meanwhile, opponents with extreme speed, flight, or regenerative powers align seamlessly with Sanji's mobility and aerial combat dominance. As the final war unfolds, the wings of the Pirate King will face the highest authorities of the world, pushing their rivalry and combat abilities beyond anything we have ever imagined. One of the most fascinating aspects of their rivalry is how they handle power. Zoro's journey is a straightforward pursuit of absolute strength, requiring him to exert total control over his conqueror's Haki and command respect through fear and awe. Sanji, however, derives his true power from his emotions, his passion, his kindness, and his refusal to turn into a cold, emotionless killing machine like his brothers. Oda presents us with two different paths to greatness: supreme ambition versus unyielding humanity. Their combat capabilities also dictate how they control the battlefield. Sanji dominates the skies with Skywalk, moving freely in 3 dimensions and unleashing aerial attacks with terrifying velocity. Zoro, on the other hand, grounds the fight with absolute stability, able to slice through entire islands, mountains, and massive ships with a single swing of his blade. When they fight each other, it becomes a collision between the storming sky and the unbreakable earth. We cannot understand Zoro and Sanji without looking at the men who shaped them. Zoro swallowed his pride and knelt before Dracul Mihawk, his ultimate rival, just to gain the strength needed to support Luffy. Sanji inherited his combat style and his moral code from Red Leg Zeff, choosing to honor the sacred rules of cooking and chivalry over easy victories. Both mentors instilled a relentless work ethic and a code of honor that defines every strike they make today. Their mindsets during combat reflect their core philosophies. Zoro constantly seeks out the strongest enemy on the field to test his limit, always looking for a wall to break through. Sanji, while fully capable of taking down high-tier commanders, prioritizes protecting the weak, rescuing crewmates, and managing battlefield logistics. Zoro fights to conquer, while Sanji fights to protect. This fundamental difference is precisely why their combination is so lethal. They cover every single vulnerability of the crew. From an animator's perspective, capturing their combat styles inside MediBang Paint requires 2 entirely different artistic approaches. Animating Zoro means focusing on weight, impact frames, and heavy lines that convey massive force. Animating Sanji requires speed lines, fluid arcs, and smooth in-betweens to show agility. Balancing these 2 styles frame by frame is one of the most challenging yet rewarding experiences for any digital artist. Ultimately, the debate over who is stronger between Zoro and Sanji will never truly end, and that is exactly how Oda intended it. They are 2 sides of the same coin, pushing each other to greater heights with every clash. If you enjoyed this rough sketch animation and deep dive analysis, hit that like button, subscribe for more original One Piece content, and let me know in the comments, who is your favorite wing of the Pirate King?